يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وشفيعنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبارك وسلم صلاة وسلاما عليك يا سيدي يا حبيبي يا رسول الله وسلم عليك سيدي يا حبيبي يا حبيب الله. All praise are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the cherisher, the nourisher, the sustainer, the provider. Thousands and millions salutations upon my and your beloved master, Sayyiduna Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, with his family and all the Sahaba alayhim ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'een. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has granted us the opportunity to witness this Mubarak day known as Yawm al-Jumu'ah, and blessings upon blessings that we are witnessing this day in the month of Ramadan. Subhanallah, as it has been mentioned in numerous hadith, that this month possesses a great status in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam explaining us very briefly by saying that the ibadah, the worship in this month is being multiplied by 70 times. If somebody recites nafal salah or nafal ibadah, nafal worship, by giving something in the path of Allah or praying 2 rak'ats of nafal in other day or in other days or in other months beside Ramadan, if he does nafal worship, he will get reward of 1 thawab. But when it comes to Ramadan, that same deed, when you do in Ramadan, the nafal thawab, it is as you have been doing the thawab of sunnah, as you have practiced the sunnah. And when somebody does the practice of sunnah in other months, he is being rewarded accordingly. But when he practices the sunnah in the month of Ramadan, he is being granted reward as fard, the compulsory thawab, means the compulsory act which is being commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you do such act, you will be granted a great reward. So if a person does the act of sunnah in this Mubarak month of Ramadan, he is being granted the reward as he has done the thawab of fard. And if somebody performs the fard act, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He multiplies it by 70 times or 70 folds. Imagine the greatness of this Mubarak month. In this month, the Quran was revealed. So there is a great attachment of Quran and Ramadan. Similarly, in last 10 days, there are odd nights where it has been commanded that that the ummah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam shall try to look for that night which is known as Laylatul Qadr, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in 30th para, Suratul Qadr, He says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatil Qadr. Indeed, we have revealed Laylatul Qadr. And further he asked, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. What do you know about Laylatul Qadr? Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. This Laylatul Qadr, further he explains, he asks a question that what do you know about Laylatul Qadr? And the following verse, he replies for it. He said, khayrun min alfi shahr. This Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. So people of knowledge, they calculated it. So there are different narrations. They say that 1,000 months, if you calculate, is equivalent like 83 years. 83 years. My dear brothers, none of us would know that he will be alive till 83 years. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought this night in such a way that the ummah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam should gain the great reward in that one night. Before we go into our main topic about the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month, we will quickly look to the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, where the beloved companions of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam were gathered and they were discussing about the great ummahs of other prophets. When they reach at the time of Musa alayhi salam, they say that they would have the ages of 900 years. Now they were feeling sad, and immediately Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam comes out from his hujra, his room, and he said, oh my beloved Sahaba, I was hearing your conversation. You were talking about Musa alayhi salam's ummah. Imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted you the night of Qadr. The night of Qadr. If anybody finds this night, he will have the thawab of 1,000 months. So imagine if you are being granted the age of 60 or 80, how many Laylatul Qadr you will find? So with that calculation, we will be passing the numbers of the ummah of Musa alayhi salam very easily. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was praising the ummah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Musa alayhi salam said, Ya Allah, please grant me this ummah to me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no, this is ummah of my beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which has the great status in my sight. At the day of Qiyamah, none will enter the paradise until the ummah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam entered the paradise. Subhanallah. Imagine. Now let's come back to our main topic. That first of all, before advising anyone, I would like to advise myself and all of you that we must have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every aspect. Whatever we do, we should have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As by the view of the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they say they haven't found to advise anyone beside the advice of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that shows that how important in one's life it is the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the second year Hijri of migration from Makkah to Medina, in the month of Sha'ban, the worship act of fasting in the month of Ramadan was made compulsory. Let's quickly go back. In the second year of Hijri, migration from Makkah to Medina, in the month of Sha'ban, after migrating the second year, in the month of Sha'ban, this is history, my dear brothers, so we must start also capturing it. So tomorrow if somebody asks when the fast was being fard, we know. So it was the second Hijri, the month of Sha'ban, where the fasting, the worship of fasting, it was being granted as a compulsory act for the Ummah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now we come that how many times did Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam fast, or how many Ramadan after that compulsory act was granted as compulsory? How many Ramadan did Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam fasted physically? So it has been said that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam did fast 9 Ramadan during his physical life. 9 Ramadan. And in several occasions we hear from ulama ikram, they say that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to love Ramadan in such way that he used to start preparing from the month of Rajab. Subhanallah. When it used to come to Sha'ban, he used to multiply his activity of ibadah. When he was asked, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, why do you do such way? He says that the month of Rahmah is coming. The month of Barakah is coming. The month of Maghfirah is coming. Why should I not prepare myself? Why should I not be ready for that? And to be ready is not just claiming by your words. The action speaks louder than the words. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing and showing the ummah how should you prepare and how should you appreciative to this month. It has been said that in the month of Ramadan, every second, the people upon whom Jahannam is compulsory are being forgiven. Imagine, every second. And when it comes to the time of iftar, that's why it has been said, our ulama and the friends of Allah, they said, when it comes to the time of iftar, don't waste your time. Even if you're reciting Quran, close Quran for 5 minutes before the iftar, start picking your hands up. Because that is the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the ummah, Sal, ask. Sal, ask. What do you ask? Anything. Ask for shifa', ask for forgiveness, ask for rizq, ask for barakah. If you don't have job, ask for job. And beyond that, the lovers of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they must say, they say, ask to go to Medina again and again, and ask for the death of Medina. Subhanallah. Imagine, that is the time of asking. Many of us, when you see food in front of you, the brain starts stop working. Why? Because the whole day you're hungry. But that's why there is a very huge secret in it, that is the time of acceptance. And it has been said that after breaking fast, immediately pick your hands and read the dua after breaking fast. Many of us, we make mistake. We pick the khajur, or we pick the date, or we pick the glass of water, or whatever you like, and you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and then you continue with the dua of breaking fast and you break fast. No. Dua of breaking fast is after breaking fast. Dua of breaking fast is after breaking fast. That's why it has been said, when you finish breakfast, immediately pick your hands up again and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is waiting to hear from you. And the smell, due to the hunger and thirst, which smell comes out from the person who is fasting. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes that smell more than musk. Itar, musk. Imagine. Further, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about this fasting, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Meaning, O people who believe, fasting is made compulsory for you, like it was ordained for those before you, so that you must attain piety. What is piety? Is taqwa, the fear of Allah. Why Allah is talking so much about fearing Allah? Because between the fear of Allah and a normal life, which makes you a special person, is the fear of Allah, is the taqwa. What is taqwa? Taqwa is a wall that you must build between you and the things which Allah dislikes. Taqwa is the secret which is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. None of human being can tell you you have taqwa or you are so pious. That's why it is hidden. Taqwa is an act of hidden, which is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that this my servant has the taqwa. The more powerful taqwa you have, the more closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you gain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further says, وَلَقَدْ وَصَّيْنَا الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. Indeed, we have advised those whom we have given the book before you and you to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And taqwa means to keep or build the wall between yourself and those matters which is disliked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our scholars has made very simple to understand, and lastly, so we can begin our Jumu'ah. They have explained in such way, and it is sufficient for each and every person to understand what is taqwa. They say, وَاجْتَهِدُوا أَلَا يَرَاكَ مَوْلَاكَ حَيْثُ نَهَاكَ وَلَا يَفْقِدَاكَ حَيْثُ أَقَاكَ. Means wherever you are, in your work or at home or anywhere, your best, you must try your best that Allah Azza wa Jal should not find you in the acts which He dislikes. Such a simple to understand taqwa, that you must try your best that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall not find you in such act which He dislikes. And further they say, and try your best to be found by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such act that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased by. That is taqwa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq and hidayah to be among those people that who listens the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not only to listen but to act upon it as well. With these few words I say, وَمَا عَلَيَّ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Your contribution is vital for the survival of our institute. We ensure that your generous contributions are utilized properly to cover the daily and monthly expenses of masjid and madrasa. Therefore, we request you to continue supporting us in the noble cause of Deen. Donate your lillah, sadaqah and zakat to Owaisia Islamic Center. Our banking details are as follows. Bank name, First National Bank. Account name, Madrasatul Owaisia. For lillah, account number 625962742234. For zakat, account number 6259628919. For sadaqah, account number 625962740028. Help us to help those who are in search of knowledge of Deen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم صل على